want to welcome everybody and apologies for the confusion here, but that was definitely unexpected, and so we did get Brian thankfully on that loop, and he came through. So, Gretchen, are you new to the group? I feel like I recognize you, but I'm not sure.
Oh, hello. I can put my audio on. Let's see. 1 second. Hi. Yes, I am new. I have been getting some of the emails, and I enjoyed watching some of the videos from the last couple of meetings and thought I would try to show up in person today. So here I am. Kind of excited to learn more about what the group does, what kind of initiatives and activities. Yeah, so I'm excited to meet you all and to hear from the guest speaker tonight. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So my name's Mike. I am co-chair, and we are a rebuilding chapter. If you can tell, we normally have, I would say, between 12 and 15 on a regular monthly basis. So and Joyce, I have to apologize. We definitely need to do more outreach to get a bigger audience. You have such a valuable lesson for us all tonight, and every month, Gretchen, we try to have a really valuable speaker bring us their wisdom. And so I just, since we're such a small group, let's just go around really quickly, and then just a short introduction, then we'll go over our community ground rules, and we can jump over to Joyce. Chip.
Okay. I'm Chip Pitts. Welcome, and I'm oh, you can't hear me? Shoot. Oh my God.
There you go. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. And I am an executive committee member at large, and I teach in the area, especially at the interface between social and environmental sustainability. So human rights, as well as climate change. Very interested as well in technology and the potential as well as limits of technological solutions.
Jan.
Hey y'all, welcome Gretchen. I'm just a member at large. But we have show and tell. I'll show you something. Last week, I was happy to go to the Texas Tribune Festival, and I saw Tom Steyer speak, and this is his book.
Oh yeah.
He was so inspiring, and he even inscribed it, and he was so kind. I got a picture with him. Texas Tribune Festival is an awesome source of information. They had only two that were based on climate. One was a forum about different politicians, about how to take politics out of climate. It was bilateral. And then Tom's talk about his ideas, which is capitalism can win the fight against climate change because we just build better stuff, and it's more efficient and it's more cost effective. And he has an investment firm that invests in climate friendly industries. That is my report. And I missed last month, so I'm glad to see y'all. And thanks for coming today, Joyce.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And it's Jayashri.
Hi, I'm Jayashri Prasad, and I'm the also executive member. I'm treasurer of our group and also the lead on book club. It seems we are getting lower and lower number of attendance for some reason. So need to work on that. And so recently I was at the Plano Sustainability Center to learn about what they do. It was a beautiful experience, and I'll talk about it later, maybe if you have time.
Yes, I do have saved after the speaker is finished for announcements, and I definitely wanted to talk about chapter business too, especially the treasurer stuff that's going on. Let's see, what I think I would like to do is I'll do our community stuff and then introduce Joyce. So I will do our ground rules. Climate Reality DFW chapter community ground rules: make space or take space, speak from the I perspective instead of generalizing, practice active listening and seek to understand, assume good intentions, be willing to be uncomfortable. Intent does not negate impact. Disagree without discord and accept that there is no quick fix. Our indigenous land acknowledgement. We also would like to start our meeting with this. So we are standing and living on land stolen from Kickapoo, Wichita, and Tawakoni, Jumanos, and Comanche people who have been harmed yet continue to thrive in the process of colonization and white supremacy. I encourage all of us to go to native-land.ca and educate ourselves on these native communities. I'll try to get these in the chat in a moment. Okay. And okay, Joyce is our September speaker, Joyce Mercado from the Alameda Chapter. And her talk is entitled From Working Mom to Activist to Columnist and Book Author. One woman's story of becoming an environmental activist and what she learned along the way. Joyce created the Alameda Climate Protection Checklist and Resource List with 70 action items and can take, which she will share with us. Oh, which individuals can take, sorry. And then is that Save the Planet in Your Spare Time, a climate protection handbook for the busy person. So Joyce, take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today and fellow Climate Reality Project leaders. So let me do slideshow from beginning. There we go. So why did I write this book, Save the Planet in Your Spare Time, a climate protection handbook for the busy person? I was going about minding my own business, working in Alameda as a climate activist for the last 20 years, and doing my best to influence others to protect the climate here in Alameda and reduce Alameda's greenhouse gas emissions. And then last year, I read the report by the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, the group of scientists, the international scientists that measure climate change, monitor climate change, and then study it and make policy recommendations for governments. And their report was especially grim. It indicated that if we're going to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, we have to cut our emissions in half by 2030, which is less than 6 years from now.
Joyce,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your voice is a little warbled. I don't know if you did something different, as we heard you fine earlier.
Huh. How is this if I lean forward?
Not as clear as before you started your presentation,
Oh,
but
that is
we can hear you. It's just definitely a little warbled.
I have a fancy microphone. Let me see if I can stick that in, if that works.
Leaning over that way, you sounded more clear. I don't know.
Oh, really? How's this?
A hair better.
Okay, all right. So I will just stay right here.
Sorry. Okay.
All right. So when the report indicated we had to cut emissions in half by 2030 and get them down to zero by 2050. If we're going to limit the most severe impacts of climate change and limit any global warming increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So I thought I've got to do something more, but what more can I do? And then I thought, well, why don't I write a book about what I'm doing in Alameda and share it with others in communities around the world so that they can do similar things in their communities, and hopefully we can influence lots and lots of people to become leaders in their communities, to influence others in their community to protect the climate. So that's why I wrote the book. I had to kind of give myself a little pep talk before I start because I'd never done anything like this before. But I thought, well, other people have done this and you can do hard things, Joyce, so just give it a try. So I did, and published this book in May. So what got me interested in climate change to begin with was an article that I read in the National Geographic about climate change 20 years ago. And it had this chart that we've used in our presentations with Climate Reality Project, a very similar chart that shows the correlation of carbon dioxide in blue to the temperature of the Earth over hundreds of thousands of years in white. And the problem is that we're all the way up here now. And so that really shook me to my core, and I thought, I've got to do more than change a few light bulbs. What can I do? And so I thought, I'll start with myself and lower my own carbon footprint. So the first thing I did is the next day after reading the article, I got the bike out of the garage and started biking for errands in town. And then I put baskets on it in the back, on the back rack and in the front, so I could, with bungee cords, I could do grocery shopping. And I cut my car trips way down with bicycling around Alameda. I changed the rest of my light bulbs. It was CFLs at the time, and then later with LEDs. I got a free home energy audit, which you can check into in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to see if your power company does something similar. Is a home energy audit. They came out and gave me lots of good recommendations of things I could do in my home to save on the electricity and gas bills and use less power. And then when I did drive, I thought I would try to drive more efficiently. So I found out the air pressure in your tire makes a big difference. So it can save up to 3% on your gas mileage. So I was more diligent about testing the air pressure in my tires, cleaned out all the junk out of my trunk, because the more stuff you have hauling around, the heavier your vehicle is, and the more gas it takes. I was diligent about maintaining the car, and I started doing carpooling for kids' activities, which was really a lot of fun because teenagers at the time, they don't tell you much about their lives, but if you're hauling them and their friends around, they talk to each other and you hear all sorts of good things. So it was a very interesting benefit of carpooling. And then lastly, I used the UPS trick, where the UPS drivers lay out their routes if they're going to have local stops, right? You lay out your route in a clockwise fashion, so you're making right-hand turns instead of left-hand turns, and that way you do less idling. So between all of that, I cut my gas purchases down from once every other week or two to every 6 weeks, between the bicycling and the driving efficiently. Then I thought it's important to embrace the reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost. I was already doing pretty good about recycling and composting, but I thought I could do better about reduce and reuse. So I did a little shopping. I got a reusable water bottle, reusable coffee mug, reusable dish towels instead of paper towels, and reusable napkins instead of cloth napkins instead of paper napkins. So I haven't bought paper towels or paper napkins for a couple of decades now, which saves money too. And then I got rid of my junk mail by calling the catalog companies and asking them to remove me from the list. This one takes some ongoing maintenance to keep it under control. Instead of just recycling the junk mail, I got rid of it at its source. I went to a more plant-based diet, starting with eliminating beef and lamb, since those animals burp up methane gas, and which is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And then switched to turkey and chicken and fish. Then I slowly eliminated those and moved to legumes and tofu and that sort of thing. We installed solar panels on our roof. I put up a clothesline. It was the kids. I put up the clothes before work on the line, and it was the kids' job when they got home to take it off the clothesline. So it was a good chore for them. And then on laundry, I switched to using cold water and instead of warm or hot water, because most of the energy of doing a little laundry goes into heating up the water. And today's detergents are formulated to work in cold water, so it doesn't really matter. And actually, it's easier on your clothes, the cold water, so your clothes last longer. And I only did full loads, And then we replaced our gas dryer with an electric dryer. And then the most recent change I made is I got a Tesla electric car. And then I did much more than this, but this gives you just a sampling of things that we did. And I put much more in my book in the first chapter. It's all about reducing your own carbon footprint. But as I was doing this, I thought to myself, I'm just one person. How can I influence others as I'm reducing my carbon footprint? How can I influence others to reduce theirs? And I found that most people that I spoke to about climate change wanted to do more, but they didn't know what else to do. And so besides changing light bulbs. And so I put together a checklist of 70 different things you can do to protect the climate and a list of resources to help you do the things on the checklist on the back. And this has been very well received. People love to get the checklist and check off what they're already doing, makes them feel good, and then approach some more new things that they can incorporate into their lifestyle. And I hand this out at the end of my Climate Reality Project presentation, so people are left with something constructive they can do. And my dream is that different people from around the country will download my checklist and tailor it to their community and put it up on their website so that they have a resource in their community for their community members to use. And I'll post this after I get out of the presentation. I'll post the link. The other thing that I did while I was making my changes was I started writing letters to the editor of our local newspaper. And so for this, it only took me an hour to write a letter that described the change I was making and the benefits I was receiving and any tips about doing it. And so this is a very effective way to reach thousands of people in very little time because everybody reads the letters to the editor. And so I give tips in the book about how to write letters to the editor and get samples and such. And I wrote so many letters to the editor that one day I got a call from the editor that offered me my own climate protection column in the newspaper. So I immediately said, yes, yeah, I'll do that. Not even realizing what I was going to do, but I figured I would figure it out as I went along. And I've been a columnist ever since. And then when I retired and had even more time, I joined the Climate Reality Project and started giving presentations like you all do. I started with my friends, and then at the first gathering of friends, they would hook me up with another group. And then at that group, they'd hook me up with another group. And that's how I spread around to get to all different community groups in Alameda. Then I also started doing, I talk about in my book, different projects that I took on. As I saw something that needed to be changed for the good of the climate, I would try to do something about it. So at my son's Little League field, they didn't have any recycling or composting bins. They only had garbage bins. So I thought, well, maybe I can do something about that. So I called up the head of the Little League and said, I'd like to implement composting and recycling at the Little League fields. And he was fine with it, but he said, you have to convince our garbage guy. So I called up the garbage guy, Tony, and spoke to him about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to help him do. And he said, well, I'm volunteering as the garbage man to prevent vermin. That was his focus. It was not composting and recycling. But fortunately, he said, well, if you help me, because I know nothing about composting and recycling, if you help me, I will get it set up. So he did not know how to sort. So he asked for a list of the common waste items from the snack bar. And so and which goes into which bin. So I put an email together for him on that. And then he asked for signs to put on the bins of what goes in each bin. So I made up signs with pictures of things from the snack bar and common things you see at the Little League fields, and made them in plastic sheets for all the different bins. And he called up the garbage company and ordered the bins. And away we went. And we implemented recycling at the Little League fields. And I just want to note that it only took me 2 short phone calls, 1 email, and making some signs. And we had it done. So it was not that much work to get it done. And the really rewarding thing was seeing the people at the Little League fields walk up to the 3 bins. We had bins clustered together in 3s. That's crucial for this to work. And then they would take their item and read the signs and figure out which bin to put it in. And then Tony and his son would police it. If something was put in the wrong bin, they would fix it. And Tony got so into it that he went to the snack bar and convinced them to eliminate styrofoam cups for the hot chocolate, so that he went from just not being even knowing about how to recycle to eliminating waste at the source. So I thought that was really a nice story about Tony. Another project I took on was the checklist that I have is an awful lot of items that are free to do and they save you money. And so I thought this would be beneficial to the food bank clients in town. So I thought it would be nice if we could hand out the checklist and maybe CFL light bulbs with the checklist to the food bank clients. So I called up the local power company and asked them to donate the compact fluorescent light bulbs. And after a couple of phone calls back and forth, they agreed. And then I called up the food bank and I offered this to them, and they were thrilled. And so we handed out thousands of checklists to the food bank clients and CFLs. And so again, that was just a few phone calls on my part, and got set up and got it going. The other thing I talk about in my book is partnering with other organizations. So I work with my Rotary Club to do tree plantings and organize tree plantings. And this involved working with a local nonprofit called 100,000 Trees for Humanity. And they could get us the trees at cost, and they also could teach us, the volunteers, the Rotarians, how to properly plant a tree at our tree planting events. And then I reached out to the Parks Department in town to see where we could plant the trees that would have irrigation and support the trees after we got them in. And so then I just picked a date and away we went and organized tree planting. It wasn't really that hard. It took a little coordination and some patience on getting everyone's schedules aligned. But now we do tree plantings twice a year with the Rotary Club. The other thing I convinced my Rotary Club to do with some of our grant money is give away tree saplings at our Earth Day event in Alameda each year. So the first year we gave away oak tree saplings. This was only a moderate success because a lot of people didn't have room for a big oak tree in their yards. So next year we learned from this and we gave away fruit tree saplings. And that worked out really well. We got rid of all of the fruit tree saplings that we brought that day. And just as important as reducing our own carbon footprints is getting policy changes made. And so for this, there's really 2 aspects to it. First is supporting candidates that protect the climate. After this session, I'm going to a postcarding party where we're going to write postcards supporting climate-friendly candidates. And it's more than just voting for the person is what I want to say. You can vote for the person is great. Researching and voting for climate friendly politicians is great, but it's also not that hard to do some volunteer work to make sure that those are the right politicians are elected by postcarding or phone banking or canvassing. Each of those things can take an hour or 2 of your time. And then the other thing that we need to do is after they are in office, we want to make sure that they are implementing climate-friendly policies. And so there's an app for that in the United States called Climate Action Now that you can download on your phone, and then based on your zip code, it knows who your state and federal representatives are, and federal representatives it has. so that then you can select different emails to send off, and it only takes a few minutes. So I spend like 5 minutes every morning and knock out 10 to 15 emails. So that's a very handy tool. So what my main message of the book is to be bold and act for the climate. If you see something that needs to be done to protect the climate, you could be the person that actually gets it done. So if you're bold. So like I hadn't written a book before, but I figured it out. And if we all are bold and act for the climate, we can get a heck of a lot done for this solution, this crisis. And that's what I have to say, is that so you too can save the planet in your spare time. Thank you, Mike. I'll stop the sharing.
That was really. You also put a link to purchase your book. And
Yes, I will.
thank
Let's
you.
see. So there's the checklist is the first link. And then the second link is where you can go on Amazon to purchase the book.
Great. Love it.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? I hope you could hear me.
Jan.
Yes, I'm so impressed. This is shaming. This is just humbling to hear how much you've done and how much anybody really could do. I was just wondering though, I was kind of marveling at how cooperative everybody was. Did you have any issues when you came up against brick walls, and what did you do to go around them?
Well, the approach I took was always one of like speaking to a friend, assuming that they're going to be receptive. And not coming in with a sense of anger or entitlement, but coming in with, I have this idea and I want to help you implement it. And that seems to work very well for me in my life. The only time I had a little pushback was with the energy company. At first, they didn't want to give me the compact fluorescent light bulbs. But then when I went on their website and I found that they had a policy that they're supposed to spend so much money on low-income people, residents. And so I called them back and pointed that policy out to them, and then they agreed. So sometimes it takes a little work to find their values and get them so that their values align with what you're trying to do.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the idea about giving out the checklist too. That would be such a nice, you could find any organization you're in, organizations around town, to distribute that,
Yes, yes. And we distributed at Earth Day events and the farmers market and different. We have a group in town called Community Action for Sustainable Alameda, and so it's all about climate protection. So I'm a member of that group, and we hand that out at all of our events.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope someone in Fort Worth will download it and customize it for Dallas Fort Worth.
Absolutely. And Joyce, so Alameda, is that an Oakland suburb?
It's right next to Oakland. It's an island just off of Oakland.
What was the timetable like? So I think I heard you say you've been doing this for 20 or 30 years.
Years.
Yeah. And so it seems like you've just progressed and built something really beautiful. Did it come to you all at once or over time? Or?
It came over time. The first 5 years were pretty intense because it was doing the things to reduce my carbon footprint and at the same time making the checklist and getting it out and at the same time writing letters to the editor. And then I got my column. So that first 5 years was pretty intense. But then after that, it all kind of just flowed. Then I waited till I got retired to do the Climate Reality Project presentations.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that checklist. When I saw that, that was awesome. That was a great idea. It's things that people can do every day, and you can just pick one to start, for a lot of people that haven't. And that struck me when you said, I went through a period of time where I didn't get any, I went a year and gathered all my, we'll call them your single-use plastics, or you go out to dinner and you get your to-go box, the things. So I spent a year collecting, and when I really was making an effort, and I think I had less than 10 pieces for the year, and I felt so proud of myself.
Oh, good for you.
And then something happened and I didn't continue it along the way. And the odd thing was today I had a moment where when you said that, it just struck me. I'm like, I did this today. I got a styrofoam cup by accident. I didn't realize that that's what I was going to get served in. And I was like, oh my God, that did not just happen. But so thank you for inspiring for me and, all of us.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your group.
Well, we'll be sure to share the video. We have a lot more people who are not here, so there will be more seeing it and getting inspiration. Super
Excellent.
helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Oh, Chip's hand. Is that your hand, Chip?
It is. I was wondering whether in your now decades of doing this, Joyce, and I really appreciated the practicality of your the actionable local aspects of your presentation. But I'm just wondering if after doing this for decades, given the moment we're in right now, for our communities, states, the nation, the world, if you have any broader overarching insights that you would glean from your experience and that you would commend to us.
Well, the thing that I have found, I don't know if this is an overarching insight, but the thing that I have found is that most people care about climate change, but they don't understand the true emergency of the situation. And that they need to, really embrace making changes in their lifestyle and getting climate protection people elected, because they don't understand that it's here and now. Climate change is already here. We've got to move. So that would be the thing I think we haven't accomplished yet, is got the point across that the emergency is here and now, and we need to act now. But I'm hoping with my book that I can get it out to different communities, which is why I was really thrilled to get to speak with you guys, so that we can get more people inspired to be leaders in their communities. And then my vision is community by community, we'll tackle influencing people to reduce their carbon footprints, which is one major part of solving the crisis. So that's my hope.
Very good. Well, thank you again. It was very enlightening, and we really appreciated it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Last call for questions.
Okay, can I ask one more? I was curious about the letters to the editor. Did yours have any particular focus, or do they range all over the current topics of the day? I mean, all climate, obviously, but
there was all climate, and I focused on making a change, whatever change I was making. So I'd write an article about bicycle riding, or one about doing laundry, putting up a clothesline, and how simple it was. Things like that. The changes, each one I focused on one change I was making and the benefits of making that change in your life. And the paper published them all. I was shocked.
okay, that's genius, though. It's good to think about one thing at a time. Focus. Don't make it too big and broad. I like it.
Yeah. And then I have people in the community come up to me and say, I put up a clothesline. after I read your letter, and things like that, so it felt really good.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Well, thank
Okay.
you again. I don't know
Oh,
if you
you're
want
welcome. I'll let you carry on to your meeting and I'll go write my postcards.
to. Okay. Thank you for your activism. And you
Okay.
have
And using your spare time so efficiently. That's admirable too. That's very impressive.
I
Thanks
try.
for-
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right,
so
bye-bye.
much.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Joyce.
Okay, so we'll be a little loose here. I do have a short list to go through, and I'll just start with just a reminder that we have leadership needs at the chapter. And Gretchen, I know you're new with us, and thank you again for attending. We're going to be, we as Brian and myself, we're going to be doing a bigger push to towards the end of the year, just last few months of trying to basically build the membership, the active membership. And we are looking for leadership positions to be filled and hopefully having elections. And if we have enough people to have elections that are interested. So Gretchen, just throwing that out there to you. If you feel you have the time and the energy to take part in something bigger, we're definitely looking for some help. We have several positions on the executive committee open, and so that's how we're going to finish our year, is sort of just going through the election process and making sure we try to get some other key positions filled.
Can I ask how big is the membership?
Well,
Whenever it comes to meetings, that's how.
I don't. So when I hear that question, I think of the number we have on Reality Hub, and that's like 400. Now 400 in our DFW Reality Hub.
Mhm.
So it's a considerable amount that actually receives our email on a monthly basis. After some discussion earlier in the year about where we were heading and what we are doing, we've definitely identified ourselves as an education-oriented group that really depends on this monthly meeting to inform each other, to gather. And there are other subgroups, our book club, for example, some working groups. But 400 in our DFW Reality Hub. Now, are you in the Reality Hub yet?
Well, I get the emails, so I don't know if that means I am or not.
Well, there's an actual hub. It actually almost looks like a Facebook page. It's Climate Reality's Facebook. That's my nickname. Yes, Josh, please jump in.
So, yeah, I just wanted to let Gretchen know that you join the hub only after you go through the training. So if you have gone through the training, you should be able to access the hub.
Okay, I have not. Is that the national training you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
there
saw
is
that's
one.
coming up.
Yeah, there is a training coming up. They're still open. There's window to still register. So if you want to go ahead and it's virtual, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
and that's something I did not realize. Thank you. I really didn't know that that's when I joined the hub. Probably it was after I didn't have
Yeah.
leadership training. But it's virtual, and to my knowledge, you can do all this on your own time. So we can sign up, and I want to say about 90 or 95% of it is you can do on your own time. I think there is a closing window. There's a time limit to do it, but that was in our national meeting a couple weeks ago. I asked that question because we all work. I work days, and so yes, when you sign up, you get all that information for that training. And so I definitely want to recommend you doing that. And yeah, so we have a big group. We just don't have a big active group.
Okay.
And I think, the discussions we've had of where we want to go, I mean, I see a lot of really good things. I mean, and feel inspired from, our speaker tonight that, Oakland's a big area. I mean, we all are in our little suburb sections of DFW, and we can, we're all going to have an impact as we, close out this year and build into the new year and build into hopefully a bigger Earth Day event than what we had last year, and really, hopefully make an impact with our elected officials to positive change. So. Any last comments on membership from anybody that Chip or Jan? Or... Okay. There have been some changes at the national level. We've had 2 of our regional organizers drop out, and well, they didn't drop out. They're still involved, but they have dropped their position in pursuit of other endeavors, and that would lead me to asking Jayashri if she got a response.
No. So let me brief. So this is pertaining to the executive committee. So if you want to drop out, go ahead, or you can listen in.
You can stay on. I think that's fine.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay on. I'm just letting you know. So I'm the treasurer, and we don't have any money or cash in hand. All the donations go through directly to the nationals. Excuse me. And we are provided a kind of debit card. So if we have money in our fund, we request them to put that money on a card. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Okay, take your time. Get a sip. I'll jump in by saying we do have a balance in our account. I think it's 380, and I don't know if that was before or after. According to, unless, see, I don't know if that happened 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, but that's where I was told we were at. And then I wanted to ask you if you got my donation, if you saw my donation.
So that's what I'm saying, that we would get a lot of donations. There was no problem, not only maintaining our subscriptions, like the website, the other things like YouTube, and then domain, etc. We pay every year some subscription. But recently, even the subscriptions has gone down like very much. So after my call last time to executive members, you donated, thank you. Jan, I get your donation every month. I think you've set up a recurring, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
It's been a
so I
while.
get that. And I also donated to make sure that we have enough to cover our, like, the basic stuff. And then, so that was fine. But for some reason, we had the money on the card. But when the Zoom was being renewed, the subscription, for some reason, the payment would not go through. And it was all happening on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when you could not reach anyone. And we don't have phone numbers, could not reach anyone in the national. So the person who's in charge of this is Jigna and Pradeep. So I emailed them and texted them, say, this is what we are having, or how can we deal with this? Why is it not going? So Pradeep kept informing me 8 times, 10 times he tried to pay. We had the money on the card, but it would not go. So I wrote an email at late night to the lady, Madeline, who was in charge. So I got her response on Monday morning saying that, yeah, for some reason, although you had the money, but that some vendors are flagged. But she cleared it. By that time, over the Sunday, we thought we'll take care of it unless we lose the subscription. So I told Pradeep and I had a call, and we said, okay, he said, okay, because he's not available, he said, I'll make you the person in charge, kind of. So he added me, my email, removed himself, and I took it. But I have a personal account of Zoom. So, and that day was my daughter's birthday. So I was busy at the party, and I was getting all these texts. And also I saw something say, do you accept the something? I said, yes. And then in that process, what happened, it seems the rule is one email and one Zoom account only can link together. I didn't know that. So finally, when the payment went through, we saw $108 or so credit. And we were trying to say, where did the credit come from? Madeline did say. Then I saw I didn't have any more account, my personal account. So the climate reality account became my account, and my personal was gone. And whatever was balance in my account was transferred to the chapter account. So that's what I have been trying to reach. Now, she did, Madeline did, who was in charge of the taking care of the chapters. She did respond and send me the reimbursement form. And then now when I sent her the filled form, I got an auto email that she is no more with Climate Reality and to contact Sean Berger. So I emailed him detailing everything. Now I get twice I tried and it says, this mail cannot be delivered to this email. Now, what do I do? I have no other contact. So who do you talk to in your the monthly meeting, Mike?
Yeah, I have Kyle Cornish, who
Purna
is,
Cornish?
I specifically spoke, so I'll forward him your emails because I think you copied me on everything.
Yeah, that's why I started copying you because you are co-chair, and so you will have access to others whom I don't. I don't know who's in charge, who is managing the chapters, or who to like reach. So
So
that's
I'll-
where, yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
read you, and I know you said, so I think there might be two issues here at least, it sounds
Mhm.
like. But his response to me, oops, this was 2 days ago, basically. Monday, I got a reply from a previous email. And it says, "Hi, Mike, apologies for the delay. I've double checked and it looks like the Dallas Fort Worth chapter fundraising account has a current balance of $379.55. Are you familiar with the process for accessing those funds using the PEX system? If not, let me know and I can outline the steps. The reimbursement request process that I mentioned is applicable to chapters without fundraising." So my initial question was, can we get the national funds? Because there's a $400 a year donation to chapters from national. And what
Oh.
it sounds like he's saying is, since we have a fundraising account currently set up, which basically means, Gretchen, and if anybody else doesn't know, it sounds like that means when you donate through our website, that it goes specifically to our chapter. And so that's the
So-
way I am reading that. But one here is, no, we do not get national funding, but I
So-
have to follow up. So, and
No,
the
so let
second
me
was
clear-
that balance.
Yeah, I understand because you have not been involved, so you do not know the details. Yes, any donation to the chapter goes to the national account. And I have that card from which I had been requesting getting the money on card, and whoever buys whatever subscription, that card was being used. So till the process of requesting funds from our account, National does not give us, because now we are established chapter, so does not give us any fund. We raise it ourselves. So till there, it was fine. We had the money, 300 something. And so now we have paid for 2 of the domain names, for the YouTube, for the event calendar. So all those have gone through. Only initially, the Zoom account, which is about $170 per year, that was not flat. I was flat, and because it was weekend, I could not like take care of it through the national immediately. So I tried to reach Pradeep, who's kind of in charge of all the tech stuff. And that's what we tried to figure it out. And that's where this switch happened, that although there is fund in the chapter, about now there should be around 200 something, but my money is gone now, like unwittingly, my money, my amount, like my personal account was used to pay for the balance, which was shown as credit on chapter. So I want the reimbursement of my personal money. I have donated already to the chapter, and this is an extra $108.84. And that's what I was trying to get reimbursement. But now that there's so much switching around, is Sean still there?
Yes, he is actually. Yeah, he
Then
was on the
why-
last call. So I'll have to
Hmm.
figure out what's wrong with his
No,
email.
can you forward me his email address? Because I have written to him when Madeline used to go for like a vacation or when she had a child and all that. But this time, all the emails to
Okay.
him is being returned.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mixing him up with somebody else, that he is still involved and has the
Sean
same
Berger?
active account, I
Yeah.
believe so. So I will follow up on that. And I want to make sure everybody has my phone number. So Jayashri, do you have my number? I know Jan and Chip do.
I let me check if I have your phone number. Even your emailing you has become, I don't know, although I have been emailing you always, but when I want to copy you, I have to like again look up your email and then Mike, 1 second. Mike, how do you pronounce your last name? Henkel, right?
Henkel. Yep.
Yeah. So can I read out loud what number
Yes.
I have? It
Yes.
Siri found it actually. 727-641-7493.
Yes, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Siri gave it to me. I didn't get it from
Isn't that
you.
funny? So, okay, so let's move forward. I think that gives me a good idea, and then we can talk. I'll get
Yeah.
you.
I would like to explain to you because probably you are new, so you don't know. I'm here since beginning. So, and I was introduced and trained in, so that's why I have been treasurer continuously. And now I have told everyone, I don't want to be a treasurer next year. So make sure you advertise for a treasurer. I want to finish this.
Well, out of our 400, I hope that Brian and I can find some people that are willing to jump in.
Yeah, at least
Well,
treasurer, because it is like this kind of stuff is a headache.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I'm between work and the election. I'll be able to get a lot more done when the election's over. So I hate for it to get pushed through to late November, but it's more of my time will be freed up.
Yeah,
And
there
JR,
is.
that's not a good recruiting pitch to say it's a headache. For 7 is a headache.
Right.
But you've done a great job and we really appreciate it.
Well,
But we
we'll
should
get
be able to there are a number of people who are, accountants, and you don't even need to be an accountant. It's pretty simple assets and liabilities.
Yeah, so far I've never had a problem. It's just recently with lack of funds. So three of us did donate. So it kind of made up what we needed. So we have the fund in the chapter, but I don't want my personal, like I have donated also this year, but I don't want my personal money just going like that. And my personal account is gone. Zoom, I can't access mine. I tried to sign in and they said unknown, unregistered email. Holy cow.
Yeah,
I have had the account for 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are the hassles that are headache. Otherwise, it's pretty simple, straightforward.
Okay, I'm going to run through a couple things that was in the national leadership call. First one is Sean Berger is global field director. He was on the call, and I will figure out why we don't have the correct email. Let's see. This is the biggest one. There's a new youth engagement policy. I think it's going to show up on the hub if it hasn't already, but basically a lot of organizations, political or, otherwise, like in our 501c3 world, basically, in terms of how we reach out and work with minors, there's a clear-cut policy now. And so I'll get into more of that next month, but basically everybody will have to go through a training that is in leadership position for the chapter. And I guess around the country, we're finding a lot of youth are wanting to be involved, which is awesome. But, we're looking for parental consent and no need to go through the whole list, but basically we don't have any minors involved with our chapter right now, but that is immediately being implemented. Okay. Virtual training updates. October is that training, and that is up on the hub. And Gretchen, do you need help finding it? Sound like you were familiar with it. Do you need help finding the sign up?
I think I have an email from you guys that lists
Yeah.
it, so I'll just refer back to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great. Then I'm gonna say that was it. The well, there's a political arm now also that was also in that email. It was in our monthly
Mm.
email. That's what you're referring to. So I am going to stop there. I think the only other thing I had basically, was there any other announcements? I think announcements I wanted, and I feel like Jayashri, that was the big one I was wanting to talk about. Jan, I love that you met Tom Steyer and got a book and Chip, thank you for all your political text, even though this group isn't political. But okay, any announcements on our environmental front? Okay, so where we are at is I'm going to call an executive committee meeting. Brian and I have talked about it, and we need to have one. Beth has mentioned it, so we are at that point where we need to finalize our plans for October, November, December, and do an election for positions, post our open positions in the next newsletter. So that's where we are at there. I'd like to have this before the end of the month, and I'll be sending out an invite to everybody for that. And then we do have we have a speaker for October. Any other newsletter contributions, please make sure we get those in. And I don't have anything else. Chip, you're on mute.
Just one little technical suggestion. I've made it before, and I think we haven't implemented it. I think we did implement it before to some good effect, but on the day of the meeting today, for example, it would be good, I think, to send out a reminder a few hours before the meeting. In my experience, that's best practice. It does tend to increase the attendees considerably. Okay. That's just a minor suggestion, but we might want to try it.
No, we did have a big discussion. I don't know how it ended up exactly. I have to go back to my notes, but my feeling was it was the night before. So it's like a one day, because if you're like me, you may not look at your email every day. So at least give a day. And we can do a day of also. I think I saw, was it Sunday the email came through? So
yeah.
3 days. Yeah, I think that's not the right. I think you're absolutely right. So we can.
Let me tell you, I mean, there are 4 or 5 organizations that I'm involved with, like ranging from the Council on Foreign Relations, I think does it perfectly. They send out a meeting reminder like a month in advance to see if you want to attend that meeting, if it's within your ambit. And then the day before, they send out a reminder. And then the day of, 1 hour before the meeting, they'll send out a reminder. And I just don't think you can have too many reminders. I mean, you can have too many, obviously, but if we're having an attendance problem the way we've had the last few months, I think it'd be worth trying personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's low hanging fruit. That's the least effort of any idea to get extra people here.
I think what we were discussing was if people click yes, they want to attend, and it's in their calendar and they're going to get a calendar reminder. But that doesn't mean we can't still send another reminder. So why not? It doesn't cost us anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, the calendar reminder doesn't necessarily get activated unless the person sets it up.
Yes, yeah, agreed. And also, Mike, we used to have the link on our events calendar on the chapter website.
Okay.
For the meeting, and also on Discord channel, there is a section that says events.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it dropped off. Okay.
That should be easily available to anyone who forgot, missed the email. They can go there, click it, and join it.
Yeah. And that's a good point. I looked on it today. I couldn't find it on Discord.
No, they're not doing it. Whoever is in charge is not doing it.
And also on our website calendar, there are several things that are out of date, even on our page. So we can.
Okay.
I have noted, Chip, I have noted that. And I thought when we have this executive committee meeting, what are the website steps we have to take? Because it's looking like a haunted house right now. There are so many things listed there, which is not happening. People have left. Those working groups are no more active, bearing of 1 or 2. And so that also gives a very bad impression, anyone who visits the chapter, to be announced, but no date, nothing, and that is old 2-year, 3-year old stuff. So that needs to be updated. Whoever is in charge should not wait for people to send it to him or her. I forget who is in charge of the website. Is it still Jigna?
I'll see what my permissions are, and if I need help, I'll ask. So,
Like
and
one
there's-
person cannot do everything. You are doing handling as it is so much. So
well, I think yeah, our 2 tech people have the easiest and full
mm,
so, but I will get with them and Brian and see what we can do.
And let's admit it, we have a lot of things on everyone's mind right now. It's a pretty important season. So, for
Yeah.
climate, but
Exactly.
also for all the other interrelated issues that are adjacent to climate, either directly or indirectly affected by it, and of a piece with it. National security, economy. I was tempted to ask Joyce about the Inflation Reduction Act. The truth is, a lot of the local instrumentalities and state haven't rolled out things on that as they should. And a lot of this is just so up in the air, including because of the global trade environment, electric vehicles and solar panels, and whether we're going to have 60% tariffs or 100%, it's really a critical time. And so I think it'll be a little bit easier when we have more clarity whether we're going to still be part of this as a nation, and whether that in turn will continue to have the cascading leadership effect that it has. It was so critical, to have the Obama administration lead China into the Paris Convention and all these other nations. And so it could be a radically different environment in a couple of months. And well, in about, 50 days or something?
Like, oh,
Coming up pretty quickly.
yeah.
yeah, I do agree. I think that's probably where everybody is spending their energies.
Yeah.
But, with Joyce, I think that she was really focused on individual efforts, not so much, electoral, I mean, they're both valid, but I don't think she sounded like she focused as much on that. So she might not have had much to say about IRA. Maybe she would.
She agreed. Like, after working in this for almost 7 years, we have done a lot of personal, and I have made changes, but you talk to people. One thing I've noticed, Americans love their comfort. Oh, it's so difficult. I know, I understand that is not good, but it's so easy to go and get it and throw it away. So
The word is
that's
convenience. Yeah.
yeah, their convenience and their comfort. It's so
Mm.
difficult. Okay, for your difficult, so you won't take these. And I think, Chip, you have talked about just personal, one person taking care of them is not going to solve that.
Yeah, I
crisis.
strongly believe that. Yeah. But I
And
also
so
think that there's a refreshing, important sense of control that comes from the sort of empowering perspective.
Personal
Yes, I mean, there are things we can control that do make a difference. And even, the things cumulatively add up, like the
no,
convenience.
agreed.
I mean, the
Agreed.
grocery store delivery might help. Amazon delivery might not help. And so we're learning more about these things, as people study them. And so I think there are sweet spots we can do a better job of promoting once we have more stability as to which direction we're going to be able to go in as a country.
Right.
Oh, and what about the Mike? Did you guys talk about the yearly, that thing we make, our vision, the
Yes.
chapter vision? We haven't done
We-
anything about it this year.
No, they sent me a template and basically suggested that we continue with the previous one, just edit it. So Brian and I never finished it. That's
No,
where it's at. With all the notes that we had from our meetings,
name them.
basically they said use our old one as a template and just
Mhm.
update it for what, basically what we had talked about. But
And we could also use the previous year's
strategic
mission,
plan.
the strategic plan. Yes, we could use the previous year, just make changes, whatever needs to be, and then submit that.
Yes,
Because-
that was their suggestion. And they also said that that wasn't it. While they'd like it done, National would like it done like as soon as possible, but there was not a pressure to get it done. I really was just kind of, I know we have basically what we need to put it through, but I think like it'd be better if we
Yeah.
had our next executive meeting before that
Yeah.
happened.
Let's do that soon. I'll be going out again of country.
Alrighty, so if there's nothing else, I guess stop. Gretchen, very nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming, Gretchen. Great to meet you.
Yes, thank you all so much. I very much enjoyed it. It's nice hearing
Yeah.
what y'all
Nice meeting you too.
learn
Yeah.
about and talk about and, your process for moving forward.
Appreciate it.
And y'all, just FYI, my friend just texted to quickly go outside and look at the moon right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yesterday.
okay.
I don't
I
know
will
why.
do that. That sounds
Will
awesome.
do.
Did you
Bye,
guys see it last
Bye,
night?
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
The lunar eclipse last night?
Yes.
That
Very
was
cool.
fantastic. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
exciting.
right. Have
All
a
right,
good
good to
night.
see
Thanks
y'all.
again. Good to see
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
Bye, Jan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.